Android Development Interview Questions and Answers. Here is a list of important Android development interview questions with answers and examples, covering fundamental concepts, components, and best practices. 1. What is Android? Answer. Android is an open-source operating system for mobile devices based on the Linux kernel developed by Google. It allows developers to build applications using the Android SDK software development kit. Example: Android OS powers a wide range of devices including smartphones, tablets, and even some smart TVs and wearable devices. 2. Explain the Android architecture. Answer. Android architecture is divided into 4 layers: Linux kernel, core of the OS, providing low-level functionalities. Libraries and Android runtime includes core libraries and Dalvik or ART runtime. Application framework manages higher-level services and APIs. Applications, user-facing apps built on the framework. Example: the Android architecture supports running multiple applications simultaneously by managing resources and processes at the kernel level while providing high-level APIs to developers. 3. What is an activity in Android? Answer. An activity represents a single screen with a user interface. It's a crucial component of an app that provides the window where the app draws its UI. Example: in a shopping app, one activity. 4. How does the activity lifecycle work? Answer. The activity lifecycle includes several states. onCreate, called when the activity is first created. onStart, called when the activity becomes visible. onResume, called when the activity starts interacting with the user. onPause, called when the current activity is being paused and the previous activity is being resumed. onStop, called when the activity is no longer visible. onDestroy, called before the activity is destroyed. Example: when a user rotates the device, the onPause, onStop, and onDestroy methods are called, followed by onCreate, onStart, and onResume to reload the activity with the new orientation. 5. What is the difference between onCreate and onStart? Answer. onCreate, used for initializing the activity. It's called once when the activity is created. onStart, called every time the activity becomes visible to the user. Example: onCreate is where you should set up the UI, while onStart. 6. What are fragments? Answer. Fragments are reusable UI components that can be embedded within activities. They allow for modular design and flexible UI patterns. Example: in a news app, a fragment might display the list of articles, and another fragment might show the content of a selected article. 7. How do you communicate between 2 fragments? Answer. Use a shared view model, or a host activity can implement an interface defined in the fragment to handle communication. Example: in a master detail flow, the master fragment might use a listener interface to notify the host activity about a selection, which then tells the detail fragment what to display. 8. What is an intent? Answer. Intents are messaging objects used to request actions from other components, such as starting an activity or service. Example: to start a new activity, you can use intent equals new intent this, new activity, class, start activity intent. 9. Explain the difference between implicit and explicit intents. Answer. Explicit intent specifies the exact activity or component to start. Implicit intent describes the action to perform, allowing any app that can handle the action to respond. Example: use an explicit intent to start a specific activity within your app, and use an implicit intent to open a web page with any available browser. 10. What is the role of a content provider? Answer. Content providers manage access to a structured set of data. They handle data sharing between different applications. Example: the Contacts app uses a content provider to manage and provide access to the contact data.